This is the Nancy Stevens Lifestyle Show here on the New Horizon Radio.
A very warm welcome to the Nancy Stevens Lifestyle Show here on the New Horizon Radio, and I'm delighted to be getting very zen with my guest Joanna Konefal, who is someone who's truly passionate about well-being, making yoga accessible to everyone. Joanna is a local yoga teacher. I've been to one of her classes. She's amazing. Dedicated to promoting authentic understanding of yoga, focusing on mind, body and heart coherence, and a truly holistic approach to well-being with a particular emphasis on mental health. She's also the first Milton Keynes-based teacher to successfully secure funding to deliver multiple Yoga for Health courses accredited by both the Personal Care Institute and the Royal College of GPs, which is an incredible achievement and really highlights the impact of her work. And as if that wasn't enough, I mean, this woman is a multitasker of note. Joanna is also the founder and organizer of the International Yoga Day at Willen Lake North and the founder and chair of the Yoga for Health Alliance here in Milton Keynes. As many of you know, I've been practicing yoga daily for about 6 years now. I'm no expert, but I absolutely love it and I know the benefits of yoga, so I can't wait to talk to Jo about this. Huge advocate for yoga and what it can do for you just mentally and spiritually. So I'm delighted to welcome Joanna. Welcome to the show.
Yes, good morning, Nancy. Very much happy to be here.
Thank you. So tell me, what's your story? How did you get into yoga?
Yeah, so over a decade ago, I was drawn into different shapes and forms of yoga. So I recall aero yoga and, fancy kind of classes, which kind of started my experience. And that was very, very far away what the real yoga is. As a matter of fact, over the last 10 years, the focus was very much on physical practice with unconscious benefits for a long time for the mind, until it became very clear how we can shape our life, literally, how we can turn around the way we approach difficult situations, stress, and with time, the understanding of the real yoga. So the connection, many of us hear it in a class, what it really is. You might have heard yoga is a union. And one thing is to cognitively hear it and understand it cognitively. And a very different thing is to get to a point where the intellectual side of it or the physical side of it doesn't matter that much, because you connect from within. And that is abstract to many of us, but it's such a beautiful practice and universal to anyone.
And I guess, once you discovered that connection, was that what sort of changed your life in terms of wanting to make a living and become a practitioner? Absolutely.
So there were a few very important moments in my life where previously, without the skill set that I obtained and practiced through yoga, I would have struggled, and I would have had to probably reach out for mental health help. And yoga showed me, or the practice of yoga showed me, incredible skill that I have within me, a self-regulation, understanding, connection, and eventually acceptance that absolutely everything, even traumatic events, even serious health issues, everything happens for a reason, for your own growth. And I can't believe that many of us go through life suffering, whether it's mental health, chronic illness, chronic issues with relationships, or just, lack of happiness and feeling really empty. So that's what I really want to share with everyone else, although I'm very conscious that everybody goes at their own pace.
Absolutely, they do. But again, as someone whom yoga has meant so much to me, particularly over the last 6 years and right throughout lockdown, it's like, for me, it's changed my life. And I mean, probably not to the extent it has yours, but for me personally, I cannot underestimate the power of yoga. But we'll come back in a minute. We'll talk about yoga for health, because obviously your teaching goes far beyond just teaching classes. As I said, you're the first yoga-based, Milton Keynes-based teacher to secure funding and deliver these incredible Yoga for Health courses, accredited, as I said, by the Personal Care Institute and Royal College of GPs. For people listening who might not be familiar with this, what exactly is Yoga for Health? What's it designed for?
Sure. So let me give you a little bit of a background to it, because it's very important to understand what it really is and what it is designed to do. So I feel very, very strongly about health, mental health, but also increasingly physical health. And I've been looking into what our healthcare system can offer. And I have a very personal opinion on it, that the healthcare system is excellent, but it is not enough understood what it can exactly help with. And one of the aspects is mental health, where many people feel like they are left without enough help, because that system not necessarily is able to offer enough help, but also awareness about mental health. And this is where practices like yoga come in. So many years ago now, around 16 years, a beautiful charity called Yoga in Healthcare Alliance was commissioned to prepare by the NHS to develop a program, a yoga program, 10 weeks, that's been done by yoga researchers, leading yoga researchers, yoga therapists, yoga teachers, and clinicians, GPs included. So the group of people came to prepare the program that is now known as Yoga for Health. And it includes, apart from the physical practice, a lot of emphasis on the breathing techniques, so breathwork, a lot of psychoeducation, so that's talking about what we do during a session, yoga class, what it does to our nervous system. And it brings every week a different subject. So it talks about change, it talks about connection, those things that still, I believe, are very abstract to many of us. We, of course, know the words and the meaning behind the words.
But what do they actually mean for a lot of people? As you say, they're just for some people, they're just words, aren't they? What does that mean? They
are. And, for those people who are listening and who really wanted to work on themselves, and maybe they repeated some affirmations, they would know that doesn't work until that comes from within, from a place of really deep understanding. And that is not convincing yourself cognitively. That sometimes you need to start like that, because there is no other way to start. But the real magic, which can happen, is from the integration, from a deep understanding, and it needs time, it needs practice. So with the course, apart from the things that I mentioned, there is also a component of guided relaxation, which is a highlight for many people, because less and less of people can relax these days.
It's so hard, I think, also, because there's so many distractions, aren't there? And social media, and I mean, I just have to have the phone. I don't have my phone in the bedroom now, because at night time, I just know it's there.
Brilliant.
And it's just that blue light, and it's so easy to start doom scrolling, and then before you know, an hour's gone, you've got nothing to show for it. So as you said, so many distractions, and we're so fed with just constant stimuli. It's exhausting, isn't it?
It is absolutely exhausting, and what it's important to realize that this outside inputs that you mentioned, they create a constant noise in our head. So what happens is, even when you switch off the phone, and brilliant, keep it out of the bedroom.
But I'm still thinking. But I wonder what's going on. Yeah, exactly. Am I missing out?
Because even if you switch it on, the outside input, and you close your eyes, all the noise that you created during the day, it's still in your head. So it is not even surprising that more and more people find it hard to rest properly. And a solution, unfortunately, in the 21st century is, for most, to look for a remedy outside. Even, and I'm not saying this is bad, but even playing relaxing music is an outside input. And it's not bad. But what it's really important, and what one of the messages I'm trying to share, is that at the end of the day, we have all that inside, and we need to know it. We need to believe it. Another thing is that you may still need to go to a guided course or a class, because the noise is so much that you need a bit of guidance, and then you need a bit of patience and perseverance, discipline, to stick with it, even if you don't know exactly what it's going to do to you. And then eventually, a real yoga stresses everything you need is within. And again, it's not abstract.
Yeah.
It's real.
Yeah, no, I mean, it is a lot, and it's very easy to say, I'll do this, I'll do that, but it's, it's actually doing it and actually like really believing it that's the thing I find the most difficult. And I think as someone who's practiced over the years, I still find myself tuning out, because I just think, well, I've been doing this so long, I kind of know what I'm doing, and it becomes a bit formulaic, and it doesn't, even when I'm doing my morning meditation and I'm thinking, I don't know what, I'm zoned out here. I'm not actually paying attention to, the affirmation. So it's very easy to sort of zone in and out. But yeah, we'll come back in a minute and talk about, the impact that it has on people's mental health as well, though. And before I forget, can you talk me about some breath work quickly? Because we just had a little bit of a technical incident, shall we say, and my shoulders are kind of around my ears. So, and also when I get stressed, I have a hot flush, or vice versa. I don't know which comes first. What breath would you recommend?
Yes, so for any moments where you need to bring a little bit of cooling energy to your system, Shitali breath is an amazing tool that is very, very easy to learn. So you need to keep your teeth together without clenching and take in the air, sipping the air in, and you instantly feel the air cooling through your teeth. So it's a slow, deep breath. And as you exhale with any breath, you allow your shoulders to relax. So always remembering to do shoulders away from the ears. So shoulders, as we know, are the first ones to hold up tension, and it's easy to notice in everyday life. So it's the exhalation that is relaxing. As a matter of fact, our heart rate always slows down on exhalation. So everything in your system is working. Don't try to go against it. Just use your breath for what you need. This particular breath is to cool you down, and then also, as always, to relax.
Okay, so let's give it a go, shall we?
Okay. As much as possible, breathing through the nose on exhalation.
Which is hard when you're a mouth breather.
Yeah, so working towards it in your practice. Okay. Understand that alone, even if it may not feel something natural, if there are any health conditions, you may need to consult your healthcare professional. But generally, for those who run, those who do exercise, even if naturally you are prompted to breathe through your mouth because you take more air, it's not as effective for your body. It's always more effective on through the nose. On this one is very particular because we sip in the air, so the mouth needs to be open. So it looks like that.
So are you exhaling? So are you allowed to open your mouth? Are you still doing everything through your nose?
If you can, exhale through the nose. Okay. You need to inhale through the mouth on this particular breath because that's where the cooling effect comes from.
Okay, I'll try again. Okay. That was quite good, actually. Even that brief period that's given me a little bit of realignment, actually, because my shoulders were literally around my ears. So let's talk. I mean, we talked about breath work and just a little bit, and obviously that's a huge part of yoga. But the mental health benefits for yoga. Talk us through that, because I think we cannot underestimate how powerful yoga is. I mean, for me personally, the reason I started doing it was for something to do in lockdown, and then the physical benefits were a bonus. But for me, the mental health benefits outweigh the physical ones. And even every morning when I'm thinking, oh God, I've got to get on my mat today and I just can't be bothered, I never regret doing it, because I'm always in a better place 25 minutes later.
Absolutely, and that's what most people would actually recognize. It's the motivation to do it, whether it's yoga, walk, going outdoors, or going to the gym. You never regret doing it. That's how our mind works. It's just about showing up to the practice. So for me, I probably was drawn to yoga many years ago through curiosity, but very early on, more than anything, I saw the mental benefit. And for many years, I've managed my mental health alongside with yoga. And there are many things that people can access to manage their mental health, including physical activity, calming music, gentle social interactions, immersing themselves in something really positive, like in nature. And it all works, and yoga works for that purpose as well. But yoga also brings an added benefit, which goes beyond management of the mental symptoms. So to me personally, it was a very big milestone in my life to realize the distinction between mental health and psychological health. So all those activities that we mentioned, they will calm down your nervous system, or through a more through stronger physical exercise, not necessarily calming down, but certainly taking you out of your head and more into the body, feeling the sweat, even if you don't realize it. And that's all good to manage the symptoms. But the symptoms, the talking therapies, for example, especially in that form and shape like CBT, those are really patches that we put on mental health. So are the medication. Also is the medication. It's a really important for those people who've struggled with mental health for a long time to understand the root causes. And there we come into the psychological health. And it has to do with the system of beliefs. Oftentimes they are things created in very early childhood. Many of us have childhood traumas or childhood wounds that we are not aware as adults, but that actually shaped all our life. Our decisions, our fears, our relationships with others, even our success in life. So some of those behaviors, those unconscious part of us, is created as early as in the womb. It's created, some of those fears that we then bring through us through the life are created in very early childhood when there is no consciousness yet. So we're talking about baby and toddler, and those things are not possible to be worked through a cognitive mind, through a logical, repetition of affirmations and just trying to convince yourself that you're going to be okay, and that there is more than the option to suffer. So when we look into psychological life, there are therapies that you can work with, but certainly yoga offers this very, very unique pathway where progressively you may have an understanding about the body first, because you come to a just general class and all you see at first is different shapes of the poses you get into. Soon after, you may get the benefit of the mind, right? So the mental benefit. Maybe you don't understand why, but suddenly after a class, you feel calmer. You practice more regularly, a few times through a week, and you've done it for a few months or years. You know that something's shifted. You know yourself as well, right? And many practitioners do. And if you pursue yoga, if there is something that you really want to shift and change in your life, that psychological, deeply rooted, unconscious depth of your own self is something that the yoga can help you with.
No, it is amazing, not to be underestimated. And coming up, we're going to be talking about authentic health, because what I really love about what you do is you focus on authentic and a really authentic understanding of yoga, because a lot of people think it's about throwing amazing shapes and flexibility, and it's not. So how would you, we'll come back and talk about sort of the deeper connection, right? So tell us about authentic yoga, because that's how do you describe sort of the deeper connection with the mind, body and heart coherence? Because it is the Holy Trinity, isn't it?
Yeah, so I am very much aware that, some things will resonate with some people and some may sound still very abstract. A term coined mind, body, spirit connection has been around for a long time. So that is used in many different contexts with wellness, within wellness industry, and certainly within yoga. And I personally really understood it only recently. despite teaching and practicing yoga for a long time. And what it comes down to is making the connection and really heartfelt, understanding that everything within our physical body, mental body, emotional body, the intuition and wisdom, and beyond, which some call spirit, soul, God, or universal love, all synonyms. So all these things that I just named are us. That's what we are. Okay, and again, appreciating that not many may share this view that at the end of the day we are a soul that comes to the earth to incarnate into a body, and therefore we're made out of energy, atoms, and we have a physical material form. And as we go through the life, we get certain disease, which is lack of ease. So our bodies accumulate if we don't process emotions. So we touched base about childhood trauma, for example. If there are things that we, that got stuck in us, that got blocked, and through life, emotions from relationships or just disappointment, projects not coming out, if we don't take them as lessons, they get stuck in our body and they show in a form of disease or lack of mobility or aging as well. So realizing that is really important. And then apart from that cellular level, mentally, we get unwell. If we are not in coherence with our true self, we're disappointed at life, we're stressed, we don't know where to put our priorities, our relationships don't work, we hurt people, we get hurt, and almost beautiful to see, we keep repeating the old patterns, so the old situations keep coming back. And that brings us to that soul level, right? So the soul, if we just assume for a second, just to entertain maybe everybody, that the soul comes to learn certain lessons. That's the purpose of the soul in life. And so if you don't learn the lesson, you will get the same relationship again and again and again until you take a different view, your perspective changes, and you see the lesson in a traumatic event or in a difficult, disappointing situation. And then you no longer come from a place of fear and missing out on things or being unlucky or victim. You come into a place of understanding how it served you, to elevate you, to make you grow, to collect those experiences in what is an absolutely amazing chance for us to have 5 senses, to touch, see, and communicate with each other. And that is the experience that we have within the body, which is the true power of yoga, because yoga, as I said again, it gently introduces us through that easiest way that we all perceive body and the senses. And then sometimes teacher prompts you to withdraw from the senses, especially with yoga nidra, not to hear, not to smell, not to etc., etc. And that brings you into that more unconscious level. And then, you take it into your mental state. You can see changes, maybe emotionally. You can also see how you start giving yourself a little bit of space before reacting. And then eventually, some of us are brought into a practice of bhakti yoga, which is very devotional, and it is all around the God, the deepest purpose, that it has to do with our true self. And just more than teaching or learning, it's really remembering where we came from and what we are at the depth.
It's so deep. There's so much more to it than than any of us can ever. And as you said, we're always learning, we're always growing. And I think the thing about yoga is it always feels like you're on a journey. It doesn't ever feel like, certainly for me, I feel like a relative baby in terms, I've only been practicing for 6 years, but I feel like where I started and where I am now is just amazing. But I just feel I've got such a long way to go. But there's nothing more amazing than lying on my mat in the morning when I've just maybe not had a great sleep, or I'm a bit anxious about the day, just thinking I'm here, I feel grounded. And I think it's just I sort of say, don't knock it until you've tried. A lot of people are like scared scared of yoga. They think
Absolutely.
it's complicated. You've got to be super flexible, and it's not about that at all. I'm not particularly flexible, but for me personally, and I know for you and the yoga community that you're in, and the joy that you've spread over the years, it's not to be underestimated. And I think once you realise it's more than a class, you know, it becomes part of your life. It's a way of life. It's non-negotiable, and I think give it a go. That's what I would say.
And I'd also say, you know, there is a term coined in herbal or plant healthcare, adaptogenic. So certain herbs will help people in different ways depending what you need at the time to heal. And with yoga, it's exactly the same. So I am very conscious that I've gave you a lot in this bit here. And it doesn't have to be daunting, because not all of us will have the same journey, as you say. Not all of us will get to the spirit, you know. It's absolutely fine to be a Christian, to be a Muslim. And I have plenty of people from absolutely many different communities. I am only starting to understand very much spiritually kind of guided culture of Black people, African Black as well, and their attitude and sometimes misconceptions of yoga. So it's absolutely fine to come into yoga as you are, you know, within your religion or without religion, because it, you know, the soul thing is kind of another level, and you know, we're not all going there. It's there for you to access if you ever wish to. Certainly you may not be ready at the beginning, and also you may never get there because maybe you don't need that.
Yeah, and I think with yoga you take what you need from it, and it gives you what you need. So yeah, absolutely. We're going to talk about International Women's Day. I've been talking about International Women's Day all of last month, actually. International Yoga Day event happening at Willen Lake North. It sounds so exciting, but it's not just going to be a yoga session. It's going to be a full day's well-being experience, isn't it?
Yeah, so it is my honor to organize what I consider a very unique event, because there is no other reason or anybody's, you know, interest in stake rather than from the depth of the heart to share the right understanding and to invite people to come and try different sessions that for many may not be accessible. So this event, the way it's organized, it's an outdoors event in Welland Lake North in the Maze, so just next to the Peace Pagoda, with incredible views of Welland Lake, so very much within and respecting nature. And it is an opportunity to come and meet many local teachers and practitioners. And we combine this educational bit with offering sessions. I think this is very, very important. And as much as raising awareness about mental health, stress, and many different initiatives is great, I personally think that it's never enough just to talk about things, because unless you experience things within, and unless you can see that there is a way, it still just stays in your mind.
I totally agree. And also the fact it's a day, because, you know, it's all very well, as you say, you can go to a class, but A, it might not be the right class, and B, it's, you know, this is something you have to do long term for it to become part of your DNA, but a whole day to immerse yourself in that is wonderful. So this is the third year of doing it, second or third year?
Yes, it's right. That's right. Actually, it's a fourth year, but the first year I just showed up on my own and another 4 people.
Oh,
so we counted.
So it's been very organic, the growth.
So that actually let me understand that I don't have to do it all by myself. So every year now I bring local teachers, collaborators who also offer classes, and that in itself makes it so unique, because I dare to say, just like with therapy, you need to try a different teacher and you need to try a different class before you can feel that it triggered something in you, that even if you've been unwell for many years, maybe you come and there is something and you can't quite pinpoint it, or you don't have to put it in words, but something changed in you in just one session. So every year what happens at the festival is there are people who break into tears because nobody ever talked to them like that or guided them. And all we do, all the teachers do, we only remind people. There is no, ancient knowledge we're bringing in. There is no discovery. If we if we found it ourselves, we have the ability, capacity to share it with others. But all it really does, and it's important to understand, it triggers something in you because it resonates within you.
And you're right, because I've been to so many different yoga classes over the years, and some teachers have been okay, and some have been absolutely amazing, and some I've come out and I've just felt so profoundly moved, and physically and mentally. But the practitioner is really important. But as you say, just dipping your toe in the water is not enough. But to do a whole day, and as I say, and finding your yoga teacher for you, the right match, it's so important. It's like finding your own private therapist or your own hairdresser. It's a deeply personal thing for you, and I think it's great that you've got these opportunities to experience lots of different teaching styles as well, because everybody's needs are different, aren't they?
Absolutely. And I just want to say, apart from many different local teachers and different styles of yoga, we also bring sound healing, breath work, different types of meditation. We have a huge international charity who wants to join the event this year. Things like quantum flow, Tai Chi, Qigong. So you don't really need to feel like you have to come with a certain level of mobility or fitness, because in sound healing, all you do is you lay down or you sit down. So we bring literally, things for everybody. And again, by doing so, we open up the mindset. Just come and try, because it's outdoors. You can leave halfway through the class if you're overwhelmed, or if you still feel like you're wasting your time. The event is also free and donation based. So it really removes those barriers, of being enclosed in a studio where you just have to stay until the end of the class. Economic, sound bath can easily be £35 and breathwork 50, 60. So if you sum up, we're probably going to have 16 or 20 classes this year again. It's a huge variety to choose from.
It's incredible, and as you said, there's something for everybody. And the fact that you've got an event that's free, I mean, this just doesn't ever happen. It always feels like there's a charge for things like this, and that would then preclude people from having a go. So, I mean, that's incredible.
So I wanted to touch base on it because there is a certain controversy about doing things for free, especially because just for you to have an idea, it takes me 6 months to organize this event.
Which is why I've got you in now.
Yes, so it is a huge load of work. And I am not really in a position to give up other work to do that. So I still have my daytime job apart from the yoga initiatives. And there are other people also contributing their time and skill. And we are incredibly lucky this year. We're supported by a marketeer who's doing it, who's doing the marketing and social media for us. But it's important to understand that a part of my job is also reuniting funds to make it, to pay for the license, for the toilets, and for many other things that we need to ensure are in place to keep everybody safe and comfortable as well on the day. And I look out every year for sponsors. So I'm really lucky. I have 2 returning sponsors this year, the Urban Om Studio and the Poplar Osteopathy Clinic, who's been supporting us from year 1 without really knowing how it would all turn out. So I'm absolutely privileged to have these 2 businesses, but I'm looking out for more, because the more we can bring together, the more we can provide to the community. There is one more important aspect why there is actually an option to donate, because in life everything is exchange of energy. And I understand firsthand when you've been unwell for a long time and you don't understand how a yoga class or a sound bath session can help you. There is a certain friction or a problem. Why would I pay for that if I'm already, scarce on money, I don't really understand how this is probably not going to help me anyway. So it's not going to help, because there is this, but at the end, there is a point where you start understanding how it's helping you, and you also understand that there are people who pour their energy into it. So if you can help with your skills, brilliant. But if there is no opportunity to help with your skills, why don't you help with a donation within whatever you can, afford?
And I think that skill swap as well, I think is really, really important. I'm a great believer, going back to the Middle Ages where we bartered our skills. I absolutely, if somebody can do something better than you and you've got a skill that they don't have, then absolutely all up for a skill swap. And I think, and I do hear what you're saying about people perceive things that if they're free that there's no value in them, but I disagree. I think what you're doing is right, because this yoga should be accessible for everybody, which is the whole aim of what you're doing. So coming up, we're going to talk about more specifics, how we can find you on the socials, and 100 million reasons why you should come. What I wanted to say about Joanna's class, I've been to one of her classes, is I love the fact that there's something for every ability. And as we alluded to earlier, yoga can sometimes feel very, very competitive. And this is probably the least competitive yoga class I've ever been to. And there's something for every level. So, and different abilities as well. And I love the fact that there was chair yoga, because some people can't even get up and off the floor. Again, you and I take that for granted, and that's my daily thing, is to get up off my yoga mat without using my hands. And at 60, I'm going to keep doing that every single day till I met someone the other day who was 85 and she could still do that. I was like, I want to be that person. So the benefits are long term for your long term health are tenfold. So I feel with your classes there is something for everybody, and I also feel, we were talking off air about the fact that you are not in any way trying to promote yourself, and that's, again, this is for me, this is true yoga practice, is the humility that you have, is that you are not banging your chest going, this has never been about you, this has all been about the practice of yoga. And that's why I think it's going to be really successful, and that's why you are successful, because you're quietly confident in what you're doing, but you've got this amazing event that I think is going to resonate with so many people. And obviously here on Horizon we will do our best to promote. But I was going to say, so obviously I know you need sponsors, and so please do shout out for sponsors, but also how can we find you on the socials?
Okay, so I'm going to appeal a few things from that last bit from you, but yes, just to recognize again those local businesses who took a leap of faith in what I was doing, even some of them, before I've done anything, and I had absolutely nothing to showcase. So I'm the headline sponsor from last year, Urban Yoga Studio, with an amazing founder who brings her own personal story to the equation and a really good understanding of yoga, is returning this year, and I'm absolutely delighted to have them with us. And then the popular osteopathy clinic with Amy, who's, as I said, not only teaches at the festival, just as well as Sarah from Urban by the way. They not only teach themselves, the founders, but Amy also supports me, or has supported me in many different ways, including taking this a decision to put the sponsorship before she ever knew how it could turn out. We are still looking for sponsors because, just to give you an idea, if we have enough funds, we can bring luxuries like tents, shades, all these things. We're looking at thousands. So I'm not aspiring to bring it all and convert it into a huge festival right away, but in time we definitely would like the festival to grow, because it usually has about 400 people, but it could easily accommodate a couple of thousands, and many more residents could benefit. It falls on a Father's Day, 21st June this year, and it's going to run from 11 to 6 p.m. So throughout the day, some people come for a couple of classes, some stay for the whole day treat, and we would like to reach out to as many people just for them to have this first-hand experience, and also quite a unique opportunity to approach so many. There's going to be around 20-30 teachers and professionals, holistic professionals. Last year I organized a holistic health panel where we talked a lot about different aspects of health. We had a guest doctor from India who talked about how you can drop your medication altogether when you have diabetes too, and we have people who've done that with him. as a testimonials. This year we're bringing the true understanding of yoga through the yogic philosophy. So at some point at the festival there will be a panel with experts. I will be probably just hosting it, but there will be opportunity to really dig deeper into the philosophy.
That's amazing. I mean, it sounds incredible. And how can we find you on the socials?
Yeah, so this year we have accounts dedicated to the festival. On Instagram, it's Yoga Day Milton Keynes. And there is a Facebook account, which is International Yoga Day event in Willen Lake North. So those accounts are relatively new and small, but we'll grow them because they will stay here for good.
And we'll put them on our Horizon What's On guide, and I'll put them on my socials as well.
And the booking link is on Eventbrite. And again, it goes by International Yoga Day event in Willen Lake North, Milton Keynes. So if you, it's a bit of a mouthful, but if you type it,
it comes up straight away.
It will.
Yeah, it absolutely does. And how can we find you for your personal classes?
Is
it yoga state of mind? Yeah.
So I have a website which is a 3 weeks website and completely abandoned, but I'd like to think that if you type yoga state of mind in Google,
comes up, yeah.
hopefully it comes up. You can definitely find me on Instagram, yoga state of mind daily.
Lovely. And those words just encompass what it should be about. It should be daily, shouldn't it? But thank you so much, Joanna. It's been lovely to talk to you, and I feel very calm, actually. You've got a very calming way about you. So thank you so much. I think it's going to be an incredible event. I will definitely be there in all my yoga gear and my big hat, because hopefully it'll be... Well, it's a midsummer day, isn't it? It's midsummer, so it's going to be really, really hot. But Willen is such a beautiful location. So thank you for being a guest on my show. I will continue to publicise and spread the word, because I think we cannot talk about yoga enough. So thank you, Joanna, for being such an amazing guest. Thank you.
Thank you for having me, and yes, looking forward to have you with us as well on the day.
Thank you. My pleasure. So yeah, thank you, as I say, for being so inspiring, and hopefully we'll be a little bit more inclined towards being downward dogs and more than couch potatoes. Our next week's show, join me for my packed show when I return from Germany, where I've just about come down from the excitement of attending my son performing as a K-pop singer. I know the excitement. I don't know how I don't think I'm going to contain myself, actually. Me and 3,000 screaming girls. I'm going to let you know how much I cried watching Miss Saigon. Single white female at Milton Keynes Theatre. Will I be scared witless? Probably. Swimming etiquette, or the lack of. Honestly, the things that go on in the swimming pool on a Sunday morning, honestly, it deserves its own show. A personal shopping trip for a petite customer, and working with Waterstones. Until then, have an amazing week. I'm Nancy Stevens, and Auf Wiedersehen.